Trouble brews when Blake Lively and her legal team face accusations that could shatter everything. The question is Vanzan the mysterious force behind it all? Blake's attorneys claim so. In a dramatic courtroom twist, a heated motion collapsed when the judge denied the motion to compel, citing that Wayfair didn't follow proper legal steps. They skipped critical procedures like a meet and confer before approaching the court, which ultimately led to their motion being thrown out on a technicality. But in the process, explosive details about the Vanzan lawsuit spilled into public view. These revelations poked even more holes in the strategy that Blake and her team are pushing, while they continue to insist they aren't directly involved, even though all signs point back to them. Using a different law firm, Blake and Ryan Reynolds have avoided agreeing to appear at a pivotal deposition scheduled for Monday. This deposition is supposed to shed light on exactly what happened with Vanzan and how this shadowy lawsuit came to exist. Kevin Fritz and Wayfair have been pushing hard for testimony that covers the entire relationship between Vanzan and Stephanie Jones. Their belief? There was collusion from the start. They suspect Vanzan knew exactly what they were doing when they went directly to Stephanie Jones, bypassing all normal legal steps. But the question remains, why would Stephanie Jones willingly hand over everything to a shell company like Vanzan through a New York lawsuit without even objecting to the subpoena? It doesn't add up. And what happens next could unravel the entire scheme, putting Blake and Ryan in the spotlight like never before. Secrets don't stay hidden forever, and now the puzzle pieces are starting to fit together. Miss Abel's counterclaims allege a disturbing series of events. Just before she left Jones Works on August 24th, her phone was seized by the Jones party, who then accessed and downloaded its contents. Even more shocking, it's claimed that Stephanie Jones handed over some of Abel's private communications to the Lively parties, including Blake Lively, her husband Ryan Reynolds, and Leslie Sloan, no later than August 21st. And it didn't stop there. The counterclaims say Stephanie continued to access these private messages, later transmitting them directly to Blake, Ryan, and Leslie to cause harm to Abel. Abel also accuses Blake Lively of conspiring with the Jones party to steal her data under the false appearance of a legitimate legal process. On September 27, 2024, Blake allegedly used her company Vanzan to file a lawsuit in New York State Supreme Court. Here's where it gets suspicious. The complaint named unknown DOE defendants. It claimed these unnamed parties had breached unspecified obligations via unspecified agreements. There was no mention at all of the film It Ends With Us, sexual harassment, retaliation, or anything related to the actual accusations. And yet, just days later, Vanzan issued a subpoena to the Jones parties, demanding documents connected to the film, Blake, Ryan, and the harassment claims. Stephanie Jones complied and handed over Abel's communications to Vanzan. But by December 2024, that lawsuit was suddenly discontinued, the very same month these communications appeared in Blake's other pleadings. The implication is clear. Vanzan may have been used as a legal smokescreen to legitimize stolen data that could otherwise have been considered a breach of contract or even illegal acquisition. If this evidence chain is proven to be tainted, it could destroy the foundation of Blake's entire case. But the real battle is only just beginning, and the next courtroom moves will expose whether this was strategy or outright deception. Drama exploded in the courtroom as Wayfair and Vanzan went head-to-head, each side accusing the other of manipulation and deceit. Kevin Fritz and Wayfair argued passionately before the judge, insisting they needed testimony about the full scope of the relationship between Vanzan and Stephanie Jones. Their reasoning? No rational business person would hand over everything to a mysterious shell company like Vanzan without so much as a single objection, unless something deeper was going on. To them, this entire scheme was crystal clear. Vanzan had already received stolen communications. They needed to legitimize the data to protect Blake Lively and Stephanie Jones from legal backlash. So they created a sham lawsuit to make the data acquisition look official. But Vanzan fired back hard. In their response, they accused Wayfair of using the court docket to generate media attention, claiming this was all a stunt designed to paint Vanzan as the villain. They even released email communications to suggest Wayfair was manufacturing disputes just to pressure them. The judge's decision shocked everyone. He didn't rule on the core accusations at all. Instead, he dismissed Wayfair's motion purely on procedural grounds, saying they hadn't followed proper steps, like a meet and confer. This meant Wayfair technically lost, for now, but they could come back with a stronger motion later. Still, Wayfair managed to corner Vanzan into agreeing to one critical point. They would allow questions about events before September 27, 2024, breaking through a major wall of secrecy. But here's the problem. No one knows who will actually testify for Vanzan. The names provided so far are all attorneys, while Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds remain completely absent, living their glamorous public lives while the legal war rages behind the scenes. And as this battle grows fiercer, one question looms larger than ever. Could this entire legal strategy unravel and expose the truth about Blake and Ryan's involvement? The answer may lie in the next explosive reveal, a revelation that could threaten to destroy their case completely. Power, secrecy, and manipulation collide as Blake Lively pushes her legal team to extreme measures, and it may all backfire. Behind the scenes, Blake has been extremely difficult to deal with, making demands that Wayfair considers completely unreasonable. These demands have forced Wayfair's legal team to stay constantly on defense, responding to outrageous claims and bending to endless requests just to keep the case moving forward. Now, Blake is asking the judge to compel Wayfair to turn over Signal Communications, claiming they are hiding information. She insists that Steve Sarowitz and others haven't provided everything she demanded, but Wayfair fired back with a simple truth. We can't give you what we don't have. Even more shocking, Blake has also targeted Sourced Intelligence, a private investigation firm that supported Wayfair's case. She falsely accused them of running a digital harassment campaign, but the judge shut her down immediately. The ruling was clear. Believing something happened isn't the same as proving it. Without evidence, her motion was denied. This isn't the first time Blake has filed overly broad subpoenas, trying to gain access to information she should never legally have. For Wayfair, this is proof that Vanzan itself might have been nothing more than another tactical move to secretly collect data. As tensions rise, the timing couldn't be worse. In the public eye, headlines swirl about unrelated scandals, like the bizarre story of someone allegedly trying to serve Taylor Swift with legal papers, only to get arrested. National tabloids connected it to Wayfair's legal team, while local outlets stayed silent, creating confusion and suspicion. Behind the courtroom doors, Wayfair believes this is all part of a distraction campaign, an effort to shift focus away from Vanzan and protect Blake's carefully constructed narrative. But the most dangerous part of all, the upcoming deposition and evidence review could determine whether the very foundation of Blake's case collapses. If the chain of custody of this evidence is proven improper, every single claim Blake has made could fall apart overnight. And when that happens, the fallout won't just be legal, it could destroy reputations and careers forever. Every game of deception eventually reaches its breaking point, and for Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, that moment may be just around the corner. The fragile web of lawsuits, subpoenas, and secret dealings surrounding Vanzan is starting to unravel. Wayfair's legal team believes they're on the verge of exposing a scheme that was never meant to see the light of day. Here's what's at stake. If the chain of custody for this evidence is proven to be improper, if the data was obtained through abuse of legal process, and if Vanzan was simply a shell company designed to legitimize stolen information, then every piece of evidence Blake has submitted could be thrown out. Without that evidence, her entire case collapses instantly. This isn't just about one lawsuit anymore. If Wayfair proves that this was done with malice, it opens the door for massive countersuits and potentially criminal investigations. The fallout could ripple through Hollywood, tarnishing not just Blake's reputation, but Ryan's as well. Behind the scenes, Wayfair has been strategically cornering Vanzan, forcing them to either cooperate or risk exposing themselves. Blake's refusal to personally answer questions, while hiding behind attorneys, only fuels suspicion. The irony? Blake has only answered one question about Vanzan, giving a single one-line response. It's a silence that speaks volumes, making it clear just how much she and Ryan may have to lose. As the deposition date approaches, both sides are preparing for a showdown that could make or break this entire case. If Wayfair gets the answers they need, Blake's carefully constructed legal narrative could explode in spectacular fashion, leaving nothing but questions, accusations, and a trail of broken careers. And when that moment comes, one truth will remain undeniable. The higher the scheme climbs, the harder it falls. Don't miss the next headline. Like, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell.